Welcome into A Toast to Film. I'm one of your hosts, Ebo, and guys, we got some interesting things this week. A lot of streaming. If the audio sounds weird, I actually had a tooth pulled today. So, we're getting through it. We're chipping away. I wasn't able to hit up the theater. Wanted to go check out some stuff, Monster Summer, Megalopolis. But hey, we're persevering. We're doing the thing. Got some cool streaming movies. We got the new Salem's Lot, which is on Max. We got the Rings of Power Season 2 just finished up. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2 on Peacock. And Mr. Snail's Pick of the Week, Good Boy, which is available on Tubi. And because of my tooth, I'm just cheersing with, I got some nice sweet tea I made. So I can't have anything carbonated, can't have any alcohol, but fear not, next week's episode will be back to normal. And I do already have something picked out, the Kentucky Pumpkin Barrel Ale. So I'm excited to check that one out. So stay tuned. We will be back to our normal cheersing next week. But let's get into some movies. So Salem's Lot, this is a remake of the Stephen King novel that was made as a mini series back in the day. And this one, it's from Gary Dauberman. He was the writer of the Nun movies. He was the director-writer of Annabelle Comes Home. I don't know how you feel about any of those movies. Not the best. I like The Nun too, but Annabelle Comes Home, not good. But we got Lewis Pullman as Ben Mears. He's a writer. He comes back to Jerusalem's Lot, little town, and he hooks up with this girl, Susan Norton, played by Mackenzie Lee. We also have Jordan Carter as Mark Petrie. He's like this kid, real into like monster stuff. My main man, Bill Camp, as Matt Burke. Love Bill Camp. Bill Camp can do no wrong in my eye. And Alexander Ward plays Barlow, the evil vampire. Let me tell y'all some things. One, the intro to this, it's like a TV show. I feel like I was watching the newest TV show for Max because it just is like this weird opener. It has some comedy, like this little bully kid gets knocked out. I thought that was great. And they do some interesting things, like when vampires are near, the crosses glow. I thought that was pretty cool. The issue with this movie, and it's no one's fault who's in the movie. The issue with the movie is it just looks cheap. Let me tell you, the camera work, the cinematography, everything with this movie looks cheap. And for a title such as this, you would think there'd be a lot more. And there's just not. And I didn't think Barlow looked that great. Nothing in this movie I thought looked great. Like I said, the crosses glowing, that was cool. But other than that, nothing to write home about. Now, it is on streaming, so it's free, which I always say, you have to adjust ratings for that. For me, I would put this at like a 3 cheers on the dot, maybe, if I'm being generous, because I didn't have to leave my house, but it's just trying to be the original. So I'd probably feel more comfortable on like a 2.7 because it's bringing nothing new to the party, and also it looks cheap. Now, something that looks great, Rings of Power Season 2. This is on Amazon. And this one, Sauron has informed himself. So our girl, Galadriel, played by Morphy Clark, she's on the hunt. We got Charlie Vickers as Sauron. We got Charles Edwards as Lord Celebrimbor, who is going to craft these rings, the Rings of Power. And we got Robert Emerson as Elrond. We got Marco Carvanaugh as Nori. We got Daniel Wimmer as the Stranger. We got Owain Arthur as Durin the Fourth. Old Rory Kinnear as Tom Bombadil. Very excited. But I was very excited to continue a journey with all these characters, but let me tell you what I was very happy with. What I really liked was Sam Hazelden as Adar, who he's kind of like the leader of the orcs, the Uruks, and calls them his children, all this stuff. And I feel he had a very interesting story going on because I'm very invested in what he has going on because he hates Sauron as much as anyone else, potentially more than anyone else, potentially more than Galadriel. But we have all these interesting things because, like, Celebrimbor is making the rings, 3 for the elves, 7 for the dwarf lords, 9 for men. So we have a lot of intrigue going on with what these rings are going to do to these people, especially during the third, and where he's like making their minds better than ever. And I really like spending time with these characters. I really like all these set pieces. The Normir stuff, like the river folk, probably the lowest. Actually, yeah, definitely the lowest of the stories. I mean, maybe Isildur's down there too, but I just love spending time. I love these stories. Like I said, I love the Adar arc from this one, and it's a great show. I definitely can't wait. Fingers crossed that they bring us season 3 because I think they still have a lot more to tell us before we do get to that big battle for Middle Earth. So I would give the Rings of Power season 2 like a 4.6, 4.7 cheers because it's given us so much, a lot with the stranger, with the Harfoots, the hobbits, and I really enjoyed Lord Celebrimbor's arc. He had such a plight going on that I really appreciate it. So Rings of Power season 2, highly suggest watching both seasons. They're very good. Oh man, I'm gonna need a sick for this one. Winnie the Pooh. We're back. Sorry, technical difficulties. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I think this one, I mean, what's there to say? So this is from Reese Frank Waterfield. We got Scotty Chambers as Christopher Robin, Ryan Oliva as Pooh, Lewis Sauter as Tigger, Murray Massey as Al, Eddie McKenzie as Piglet. I mean, these movies, they're what you expect they are. I'm a big fan of the first one. I'm actually more of a fan of the first one than this one. I do think this movie's fun. I think they do like these animated storybook intros, which I adore. I love them. I love the art style. I love the storytelling. I love the narrator. Oh, it was a day. I love it so much. But, you got to know what you're getting into. I mean, you're getting into a Winnie the Pooh killer Pooh Bear movie and Friends. I loved Al because Al just be talking mess. Like, he's not only going to kill you, he's going to talk crap to you before he kills you. And there's a rave scene that's pretty wild. A bunch of folks raving, and then the monsters come in and they just, Tigger starts ripping up folks. Pooh starts smashing heads. Pooh will smash a head. Let me tell y'all, Pooh will smash a head. But these movies, you're either into them or out of them. I'm into them. Like I said, I do think the first one was a better film, but I do enjoy both of these. And this one, Blood and Honey 2, I'm going to give a 3.3 out of 5 cheers. I think it's enjoyable. I'm excited about the Pooniverse, so we'll see. And finally, last but not least, we got Mr. Snail's Pick of the Week. And, Mr. Snail, he was so gracious to allow me to do a special Halloween Mr. Snail's Pick of the Week. So we did a D12 last week, a D10 this week, a D8, and then a D6. And so our pick was Good Boy. This is a 2022 film by Viljar Bo. I'm sorry about what I'm about to do these names. I really apologize. We got Gard Loka as Christian. He's this rich, handsome guy. Starts dating this girl, Sigrid, played by Katrine Lavise Olpstas Fredrickson. And then, she's like, oh, well, I'm kind of liking this guy, kissing him, all this. And she finds out he has this man, Frank, played by Nikolai Narvasi, who's dressed like a dog, acts like a dog. And so that's kind of weird. And this movie just goes on this weird tangent. It's okay. I mean, I like the premise. The execution's okay. It's kind of slow. It's kind of, kind of weird, but it's not bad. So, Good Boy. It's a guy in a dog suit living with another guy acting like a dog, and then stuff ensues. So, check it out. Potentially, I just don't know who I would recommend it to. I'm going to give Good Boy a 2.5 out of 5 cheers. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. And I definitely don't want to watch it again. But that's okay, because that brings us to Mr. Snell's Pick of the Week. And this will be a D10. So, the remaining films, we have Frankenhooker, Chompy and the Gorals, From Beyond, Seed People, Pinocchio's Revenge, Strays, There's a Monster, Tourist Trap, Blood Games, and Funhouse. All these movies except Funhouse are 100% free. I wanted to make sure that these movies are free for y'all because they're either on Tubi, on YouTube, or on Pluto TV. So, let's get it ready. A 1, Frankenhooker. Guys, stay tuned. I'm very excited to rewatch this one and to give y'all a review. Frankenhooker, good stuff, good stuff. So, stay tuned. Mr. Snell's Pick of the Week. We'll be watching Frankenhooker. And then stay tuned because we're doing this weekly. So, next week, we'll be doing a D8. So, stay tuned, guys. But we appreciate you listening. I hope the sound was okay. Like I said, I'm, sans one tooth. But we'll get back to business next week. We got good stuff coming out. Next week's episode, man, we got Terrifier 3 coming out. We got the Saturday Night Live movie. I'm going to see Trey and them this weekend, so very pumped about that. There's a new My Hero movie coming out, so no telling what I'll be talking about next week. But stay tuned. Check out Frankenhooker for Mr. Snell's Pick of the Week. And if you want to let us know, what you think of these movies or anything else, let me tell you the best ways. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok, A Toast to Film, all one word. Or check us out on Twitter at film_toast. Or check us out on YouTube. This video's available now. Just search A Toast to Film podcast. And from Trey and myself, we just wish you a good night and good viewing.